Hey Trek Gang, what's going on in this week's episode of the Boeville in Newtown? Well, it's right over here. Stand by and we'll get into what's happening this week. Alright folks, well I'm doing this free-handed and it happens to be January 11th, which is my birthday, and I am at a very unique place because my daughter won something for me over the Christmas holiday. So let me swing around here. And yes, we're at the Baltimore Street Car Museum, and as you can see there's already a streetcar sitting out here, or actually that's a PCC. So let's go inside. You gotta love this. Museum that rolls. Very, very cool. Very, very interesting. The car that's down there was actually a horse-drawn car that they turned around and electrified. That is insane.
Take one and then hold each point about a second or two. One, two, three. Very good. A couple of bells. And one more. Good. And then you always want to keep one hand on the brake. Alright. Why don't you shut it off, try the brake, just get a feel for it. Just try to bring the car to start running. Just wanted you to get a feel for what the brakes are like.
Yeah, it takes a bit.
Oh yeah. One thing you're going to want to do too, can you shut it off for a sec? Did you feel how the thing is jiggling a little bit as you're going? You want to brace yourself and brace your hand, because when it's doing that, it's arcing a little bit. So just try to give a little bit of tension on your hand so you're moving it smoothly. Up, see, off, all the way off. Just bring it slowly. There you go, good. One, and then two, good. And then three, and then four. Awesome. And one more. And actually you can hold it there. The points in between are resistance points, so you can only hold them there for a couple of seconds. This one you can hold it there for miles and miles. We are in what is called full series, which means 50% of the total 600 volts are making their way to our motors. I'm going to have you hold that on till I tell you. Get a little bit of speed up through here, because this car is like... Going forward, except stop at the switch at the substation.
You can edit this out when you want. Okay.
Or go up the next one. Not shut off here. All right, actually, what I'm going to have you do is bring it to a stop up here, and then I'll take it up through the yard.
All right.
So what do you think of 1900 technology? It's primitive, isn't it? It is fun now. And you know, these guys did that for like 14 hours a day running these cars.
Well, the accelerator's a little touchy.
And this track is from Eastern Avenue.
Doesn't take a lot to when you back off of it, it wants to stop.
The track is out of gauge there, that's why it bumps. The snow plows. When they go through the yard with the plow down, it pushes the rail outward. And it's at 1 inch out of gauge. For streetcar flanges such as this insert, which on the older cars is one hell of a bang. Imagine being in rush hour traffic with this.
I'd probably be making the passenger sick by then.
Yeah, lots of kids and women would get ill from riding one of these. I was okay with it. These cars were designed, for many, they designed and started in 1949. By 1936, the first one drove off the assembly line.
Mark, how did you turn it out something for a second to put it away?
You have to put it in the loop over.
I'll come out and get the switch for you.
I got it.
So Ray, this car is going to run just like 264, except, remember how you were having a hard time making this one move? You're going to have the opposite problem. Alright,
It
fine.
stops really well and it
It moves.
But this is fine. You know, I would like, before I die, I like to see it back in parallel again. Seashore Museum has one of these. So 2 were saved. And as far as I know, the parallel works on theirs. Parallel means all 4 motors are receiving the full 600 volts. Just reset this pole here, which got knocked down by a truck a couple of weeks ago. Ding ding. Release brake. This car needs brakes. They work. Just the brake shoes are starting to get very thin.
Gotcha.
We stopped for the spacing point switches. With only one switch on the line in the system, you didn't have to stop for, which was at the end of Bear Creek Trestle on the 26 line, because cars were scheduled every 30 seconds at shift time, rush hour. Run around this loop in the opposite direction, but this car doesn't like it. It likes to split this switch here. I think it's just because of lack of lubrication.
On the switch or on the car?
On the car, the kingpins. And this loop was designed.
Ray, you're a natural. And actually, one of the reasons I like you to grab the brake underneath is, believe it or not, this brake has a sander built into it. If you push down, it actually...
mindful that there are membership applications in the take one racks on that car. Over. Good to know.
That straight air is fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ding ding. There you go.
First mistake.
Don't worry about it. Now, when we get back, we do want to make sure not to do that when we get to the
Yeah, right.
substation.
When we get to the substation. Note to self, this thing doesn't stop on a dime. Or at least the brake doesn't apply.
Actually, you know what? Go ahead and give it full apply. I want you to see what it does.
All right, folks, I'm hoping this works. Haven't used this camera in a while. Unfortunately, the Amazon special that I had picked up a couple years ago, when I got back home, I think maybe what happened is I had it plugged into the wrong port on the battery, and I think I blew the blew the charging port, and the picture was just sitting there flashing and everything else. So I think that camera, unfortunately, is done. But that's okay. At least I got off of it what was important, and that was the, which you've already seen, which was the Street Car Museum Motorman for a Day. First off, I want to thank my daughter for winning that basket, or actually, first off, talking to the Street Car Museum, having them put that package together, and then her winning that package at the Crab Feast last October. That was huge. And then to Chris, Father Mueller, and to Mark, for taking half a day or a day to go down there and bring the streetcars out and then teach me how to operate a streetcar. And I'm hoping that Big Bill from the South Brooklyn Railroad, aka the Catastrophe Railroad, still watches YouTube videos, because I'm hoping he sees this and get a big kick out of watching me try to operate some of these relics that we were operating. But on a more serious note, it came to my attention, talking to Chris, that museums like the Streetcar Museum are hurting. And it's not because of the part of it is because of the pandemic, but the other part of it is the volunteers, and they are a complete volunteer museum. There is no paid staff. Their volunteers are getting older, and they're passing away. And there is no one from the younger generations coming in to fill those shoes. You know, I know that Jerry Satarelli, Boxcar Jerry, has been down to the Streetcar Museum, the Baltimore Street Car Museum, a few times to do woodworking for them. To which they're very appreciative of, obviously. I mean, it's a bit of a haul for him to get down there, but, you know, but that's exactly what I'm getting at, is they're looking for people like that have trade skills, mechanics, electricians, woodworkers, upholsterers. You know, they need those kind of people to be able to keep these antiques running. And to me, it's a living museum, much like Strasbourg and Steamtown and Electric City, which is Scranton, the Greeley Museum, the Toltec and Combreeze and Toltec, the East Broad Top. These are all living museums. I know a few years back, it's been quite a few years now, I know Model Railroader talked to a kid at that time, say a kid, he was in his 20s, who was really interested in steam, and he actually had one of the old timers teach him how to maintain, inspect, and repair the steam locomotives. And at that point in time, he had somebody that was younger than him that he was mentoring to bring along. So that way that stuff continues, because let's be honest, you know, back in the day, not only did you have steam locomotives, but eventually you had most of the buildings, the office buildings, even your residential, some of your houses, my grandparents' house is a prime example of this, ran off of a steam boiler. You know, it was heated up. It heated up the steam. It filled the steam pipes, heated the radiators, and that's how you got heat in the house. And boy, did it heat the house! I mean, it does a heck of a lot better than the things that we use these days. To be perfectly honest, they're probably nowhere near as efficient. But hey, the heat that came off them freaking things was insane. And those of us that are in our 50s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and we know what I'm talking about. But getting back to getting back to what I was talking about here with the Streetcar Museum and the living museums, period. We have to, as a society, and I'm not just talking model railroaders, I'm talking society, period. We need to look into ways of getting out of the house and helping these organizations out. Even if it's just donating time. Because the other problem that they've got right now too is they're short on certified motormen. Which is the reason why they have the motorman for a day. That's to see if somebody might be interested in actually doing it on a more regular basis. I'm toying with that idea. Let's just put it that way. But at any rate, just think about it. And I'm sure that there is a living museum close to you, wherever you are. Like I said, I've named some of the bigger ones, but I'm sure that there's a bunch of others. In fact, I think Philly's got a streetcar museum. I think DC's got one. I think Virginia's got one. Look it up. Think about it. Find out if they need people. And even if they don't, just show up and enjoy, you know, being able to be transported back in time is another good way to put it. I mean, you know, like I said, one of these streetcars that I ran, and I forgot, here it is, I had everything written down, and this is the second time I've had to do this. I would be, the streetcars that I ran were 2168, which was circa 1948. Number 264, which was 1900. 7407, which was 1944. 417, which was built originally in 1888. That one there, I believe, was the horse-drawn one that was converted over to electric. 6119, and that was in 1930, and 4533, which was originally built in 1904. Like I said, 1888. That's over 100 years old. And in fact, that's close to 140 years old. So, yeah, living history, folks. But think about it. So anyway, I'm going to end this here. You all know the deal. Wait for the highball. Green tracks ahead. We'll catch y'all next time. Be safe. God bless. We will see ya.